All right, Shalom. Giving all praise, glory, and honors unto Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, by Shem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. This is the brother Tazaiwan with another edition of GMS News and Prophecy. And this here is from timesofisrael.com. And it says, mass protests continue into the night in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Okay. So these are more riots and protests, as you can see here, in the state of Israel. Okay. Which you have the small hats over there pretty much fulfilling prophecy. Okay. Not in the prophecy pursuant to Isaiah the 2nd chapter, because when you read Isaiah the 2nd chapter, matter of fact, before I do get into that, let me read this here. It says, thousands convene for demonstrations at end of day of disruption, with some clashing with police in Capitol. Hundreds march toward Prime Minister's residence. So this is another play by the protest elite to do the same thing that happened in the U.S. and around the world. All of a sudden, now these protesters, all these protests around the world, now they all leading up to, they all march and get to rampage the residences of these government leaders. It's all a setup. Okay. It's pretty much just another psyop. But nevertheless, this is what's happening, and it's fulfilling prophecy. Okay, let me read some of this. It says, thousands of Israelis have gathered for evening protests across the country, capping a day of near-round-the-clock demonstrations against the government's judicial overhaul plan. The two main evening protests are held in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. In Tel Aviv, where hundreds surrounded a hair salon where Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's wife Sarah was being tended to inside, the protesters proceeded to block several main roads. In the Jerusalem neighborhood of Rehavia, hundreds of protesters marching toward the Prime Minister's residence were blocked by police as they sought to block the road. The showdown led to minor scuffles with the cops. So yeah, like I said, this whole, we're protesting and now let's go to these government officials' residences. It's all if you are blind enough to be tricked by the same ploy done over and over again in the last 2 years or so, then you're a fool. Okay? But anyway, even the fact that they're protesting in Israel, it's not a fulfillment of who these people say they are. Let me get Isaiah the 2nd chapter. Isaiah the 2nd chapter says, when the people go back to the land of Israel, all nations are going to flow naturally. Isaiah 2:1. The word that Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house, which is the government of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, shall be established in the top of the mountains, meaning over the governments. The state of Israel is not over the governments of the world. Okay, America is. It says, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. Yet all nations flow unto America. All right, in NATO. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, which is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people. And they shall beat their swords and the plowshares, so no more weapons of war, and their spears and the pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. So when you see these things happening in Jerusalem, it begs the question, who are these people and what's going on here? Okay? That's what I'm going to say on that. So now, with all of this that is happening over here, with these protests that are happening in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, here in the state of Israel, they're protesting the laws of, matter of fact, let me read it here. It says, let me see. Let me make sure. Okay. Let me see here. All right, so it says thousands of Israelis have gathered for evening protests across the country, capping a day of near round-the-clock demonstrations against the government's judicial overhaul plan. According to prophecy, the government, the mountain of Israel, okay, is supposed to set forth the law that everybody's supposed to follow. So why are they protesting the government's judicial overhaul plan? Like I said, that's a question to be asked, okay, about what's really going on with the people over there in that land. And who are they, truly? Okay? But prophecy is being fulfilled. And I just found this interesting. You know, there all this turmoil in the state of Israel. Yet when you read the scriptures and what it says about when the people go back to the land, it says that the laws were going to be established. All right? The laws were going to be established. But here, they're protesting the laws and the things that the government is pushing out. All right? That's all I'm going to say. All right. Now it is fulfilling prophecy, though. Let's go here. Yep, 2nd Ezra's 15th chapter. Now this is the prophecy that is being fulfilled according to this news report that's going on in Israel with these protests that happen. I believe it said the first. All right, so a day or so ago. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15. 2nd Ezra 15. Yeah. And 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, meaning their governmental leaders, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So what's happening here? What's happening here in the state of Israel, okay, is they are not regarding their kings nor princes. They're not regarding their prime minister. They're not regarding the prime mistress. They're not regarding the laws of the judicial system. Okay? So this is the prophecy that's being fulfilled. Okay? All right? You know, these are part of the signs that Yahweh Shai said were going to happen in the last days before he returns. And no one understands that when Yahweh Shai returns, then that will be when the true government of the Lord is established. Okay? Starting with the elect of the Hebrew Israelites. Okay? The people here and their government are not establishing the laws of the earth. But the people in this land are fulfilling the prophecy in regards to 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. Okay? And that's the point. You know, so, you know, this prophecy's being fulfilled, this news report's coming out, and even in the Holy Land, these things are happening just as much as they're happening in other countries and other places around the world. As we patiently await for Yahweh Shai to return and save the elect. So with that, all praises go unto Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, B'Hashem Kakwadash, double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. That's the next video I say. Shalom.